All right, rise and shine. It's more World Car Time and Dan, the great curator. It's another episode live stream of Between Two Slabs. It's a week before Thanksgiving, and Dan's got his drink on, as everybody can see right now. It looks like a nice, cold, icy sippy. What is that, Dan? Is it spiked or unspiked, first of all?
It's unspiked. It's pink lemonade.
Oh, yeah.
But it's in my Star Wars chalice.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering, did you get that at the Star Cruise tour?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's awesome. I mean,
and does it like defy gravity or something special?
It's just like a little chalice where you hold.
Okay.
This is the grip. You hold it so you don't like put your hand on the cup and make it warm. You know.
Right. That's the way you should like drink drinks, especially like cold wine and champagne.
Right.
My dad always taught me to hold from the stem.
My cigar.
Oh gosh, here he is. Sophistication right here on my left. So speaking of sophistication, Dan, how has the week been? Not doing a show.
I gotta say, I feel like I'm on vacation right now, so it's nice. Like there was a show this past weekend, the premiere show in Garden Grove, but
that was this weekend.
Yeah,
you didn't even what? Wait, hold on. Yeah. Shut the front door. You really did not go to a card show, even though when there was a round.
It was in my backyard, and no, I didn't go.
Someone pinched me, man. I must be dreaming.
I said that I said Dallas was going to be my last show of the year.
I know, but you always show up just even as a participant of some sort, be it a dealer or just walking the floor.
I feel like yes, that's true, but I feel like I'm in this like Groundhog Day, rut almost, where I just like going to card shows every weekend and I'm seeing the same things over and over again. It's just like I feel like I just need to stop for a little bit because it's getting a little bit too what's like stale for me.
No, that sounds like a good one. Yes.
Yeah. So I need to kind of like stop a little bit, pull back, wait a couple weeks, a couple months maybe, and then go back out to the shows. And I feel like I would appreciate it more than just, it's just too routine right now. It feels like almost like a job. Like I have to go out there and hustle and make deals and this and that. So I just wanted to take a little bit of a break before I start to get back into the mix. And then also right now is like holiday season. Like my wife is, Anne, she's starting to put up Christmas decorations around the house and stuff.
Oh, really? Already?
So I'm like
Thanksgiving yet? Are you supposed to wait till Thanksgiving?
Well, Thanksgiving, nobody cares about Thanksgiving anymore. Let's be real. They already got Christmas trees in the mall right now.
Oh my goodness.
But I'm getting into like the Christmas holiday spirit. So I'm like shopping for toys and putting gifts together for friends and families and things like that. So like my mind is shifting towards the holiday season right now. So that's kind of like what I've been thinking about lately. I still think about the hobby, all the time, but in terms of just like going to shows weekly, probably going to be taking a couple weeks off, unless I get really bored and I want to go out somewhere. But there's not too much for me to do at shows these days with the type of inventory that I have and where the market is right now. So what about you?
I thought maybe you might be going, shopping around, looking for stuff to stock up for the beginning of next year of 2023 for like Dallas shows and stuff.
Well, it's so crazy because I've been spending a lot of money like on big ticket grails on these auctions. And it's kind of like upsetting me because I'm trying not to buy, right? And I'm trying to be very picky about what I buy. I'm only buying basically like really grail cards, one of ones, things like that. But they're just popping up all over the auction blocks these days. It's like every other day this grail pops up and I'm like, damn it, and I got to go for it,
Right.
Like this week, there's a couple grails that I have to try to go after that are going to cost me a bunch of money. Last week, I bought a couple things that cost me a lot of money, and I don't know. I just get like, when I see these grails pop up, I get FOMO. Like if I don't go for it now, I might not get another chance. And it's getting annoying because they keep popping up. I guess people need cash and they're liquidating, right?
Oh, I know, right?
So I guess that's what's going on.
They're needing money for the holidays.
Yeah. So I've been spending a lot of money online on these auctions. I haven't won them all. I've only won a few of them, but I did pick up some pretty nice grails lately. So that's kind of like what's keeping me occupied, and maybe that's scratching the itch. I'm doing a lot of deals online, and that's like scratching the itch. So I don't necessarily have to go out to the shows to look for things. Plus, to be honest, at the shows, the local shows here, they don't really have a lot of inventory that would appeal to me that I know of.
Oh my goodness.
No.
Well, have you had any clients try to sell you cars to pay for their alimony?
No, not yet. But I mean, I toyed with the idea that I would take cards in trade. Actually, one time, one guy last year, and I got to be careful about how much details I give out here.
Yeah.
But one guy last year actually tried to pay me with a Jordan rookie card. Yeah, he had it was a PSA 6 or something like that.
Okay.
I forget how much it was worth. But it was not worth as much as he wanted in trade. So I didn't do it. But I was
trade for
thinking about doing
service.
it. I was thinking about doing it. I probably would, to be honest. I've heard about people who provide other services. I've heard about them taking, barter or trade in like gold, silver, things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking, maybe one day I would take something in trade for like cards or something. I don't know. I'd do it. I would totally do it.
Well, maybe, yeah, that sounds a good idea, maybe with cards, but I don't know. Right now, from what I'm reading, don't take any crypto. I'd be scared of that.
Oh, we got to get into that.
Why is that?
We definitely.
Have you known about the story?
I've been following it very closely.
Okay.
You're talking about the FTX scandal, right?
Yeah. Is that the 30-year-old kid who owns it and then kind of like disappeared?
I have a lot of thoughts on that, and we can talk about it a little bit. I mean, this is not a crypto page. I by no means am a heavy investor in crypto. Although,
But do you have some crypto?
I mean, I did, but
Okay.
I sold it recently because of the things that I've seen. I actually took a loss on it, to be honest. But I kind of dabble in it. It's like 1% of my portfolio,
Right?
So it's not like a huge amount to me. But yeah, that scandal, I've been paying attention to that a lot lately because I'm just amazed about what's going on with that story. I'm amazed that how so many people are involved with that scandal, and I'm trying to like think to myself, how does this relate to the hobby? The hobby is always on my mind. Where everywhere I go, I'm always looking for how anything that I see happening out in the world, how it can relate to the hobby, right? Like if I go to like Disneyland and I see like all the kids buying a specific character, I might think to myself, oh, do they have a movie? Do they have cards? If I see like a lot of people moving their money into a certain category, and I might think to myself, hey, can the hobby benefit from that? Things like that. So that's what I've been kind of like comparing this scandal to the hobby. Before we get into what's on my mind and we talk about this a little bit, do you want to give like a brief synopsis to people, or do you want me to do it?
You do it better because I've just been listening here and there. I've just kind of been I kind of was paying more attention to the elections the last few days,
right?
But and then people kind of like say it in passing, the reporters and announcers and stuff, like about the crypto guy, and I guess he filed for bankruptcy, and then everybody's crypto accounts kind of disappeared. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Right.
So I'll give a very very brief elementary school level summary of what's happening. If you guys really want to know and you haven't been paying attention lately, go do your own research because there's a lot to say about this. But basically this crypto exchange, which is like a brokerage firm for crypto currency. The guy who was in charge of it, the founder, he misappropriated the funds from the exchange. He used it for things that he wasn't supposed to be using the money for, and he got called out on it. And when he got called out on it, basically everybody tried to withdraw their money from the exchange, and it caused the exchange to go bankrupt because they didn't have the money. They were not liquid enough to return the money to a lot of people. So that's basically what happened. But what's so crazy to me about this story is how a couple things. Okay, number one is how we've come in the marketplace is how we basically made these markets out of thin air, right? Like cryptocurrency has come up, and it's to the point where you can make money out of thin air with really no hard backed assets to support what it is. Okay, and I'll give you an example of how this applies to this FTX scandal. Basically, part of the scandal is that he was taking money from people, and in exchange or something like that, he was issuing out his own cryptocurrency. They made up their own cryptocurrency, and this is something that people do a lot. A lot of people make up different types of cryptocurrency, and then they try to sell it, and then they'll pump it up, and then sometimes they cash out, sometimes they don't, whatever. But they were making up their own coins and things like that. And I don't know, just that stuff that has never, that concept of how they do that has never made sense to me. It seems like they're just like, they make up these crazy complicated scenarios to try to get people to buy into their investments. And it just usually ends up backfiring. A couple months ago, I don't know if you were paying attention, a couple months ago, there was that other exchange. I forget what it's called. Luna or something like that. There was another exchange a couple months ago called Luna, where they were making up their own coins, okay, taking investors' money to pump up the value of their coins. Something happened, and then they went bankrupt, and everybody lost all their money, right?
Right.
Something kind of similar happened here, where they're making up their own coins and things like that. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make here is how I would apply this to the hobby is it makes me question how sometimes we can add value to cards and collectibles within the hobby. And the one thing that pops up to my mind when I think about this is when you see those fractional share companies, right? The fractional share companies that will buy a really rare item, like for example, I don't know, like a LeBron James, PSA 10 exquisite rookie card. They'll buy it for like $1 million or whatever, right?
Right.
I'm just making up numbers here, guys.
Okay.
They'll buy it for like $1 million, and then they'll sell fractional shares at $20 a piece to get in on it. And you can buy a share for like $20, but it pumps up the value to like $2 million, basically, something like that, right? Like they just add a bunch of value to it out of thin air just by selling like fractional shares, things like that, right? So I don't know, that stuff just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't seem like it's very sustainable to me, how they can do things like that. And I see that a lot, to be honest. I see that a lot in terms of outside of the hobby, where people ask me to invest in certain projects and things like that. And I'm primarily a real estate investor, so I'm used to conservative returns. Like if I can put my money in real estate and I can get like a 6% return on it, that's great, right? Because in comparison to what you would get at the bank, less than 1%, if you get 6%, that's really good. But then when I often get people that will say, "Oh, invest in this company, invest in this thing or whatever, you'll get like 100% return, right? Or you'll get 30% or 20% every month or whatever." That stuff like, it doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? That's like how Ponzi schemes work. That's like what do you call it? Pyramid schemes.
Pyramid scheme, yeah.
Right.
Like the Bernie Madoff thing,
yeah,
right?
You may get a return a couple months into it, right? In the short term, you may get a return, but long term, those things are very hard to sustain, and usually they kind of fall apart. And that's kind of like what happened with this whole FTX thing, right? So that kind of makes me think a little bit. It makes me just kind of want to reevaluate some of the things that I see in the hobby in terms of people creating, value out of thin air, basically. Another way that I think people in a hobby create value out of thin air is they add like artificial things, right? Like you could have a PSA 10 card. Okay, well, first of all, grading a card is already adding artificial value. So you take a regular card and you put it in a PSA 10, you create artificial rarity that adds value to it, right? Okay, fine. We accept that. that's the way the hobby is now. Now they have things where like you can, like some of these companies will say, okay, this PSA 10 is in the top 10% of eye appeal of a card. That adds more value. There's companies that will grade the card in the slab, and they'll put like a gold, silver, platinum sticker on it, right? And that will add artificial value. And it's just like, I feel like, those kind of things, sometimes they're warranted, but not on a large scale where they apply to everything. Maybe it's like super rare stuff, like a Mickey Mantle 52 tops rookie. Okay. It would apply to like really rare stuff. But like when you start applying it across the board, that's when we're going to be in trouble, right? Because it's just like trying to squeeze more value out of these things, and it's just not sustainable. So, any thoughts on that before I give you my second point?
Yeah, I mean, I do something like that. I mean, I was on this app Otis, but I think they've redirected all their shares to public app, whereas you can buy, like you said, shares of a certain card or collectible, like a comic book. And I bought the one where I invested in shares of, I guess, the first appearance of oh my gosh, what was the superhero, the Asian superhero from last year's movie? Shang-Chi,
yeah.
Shang-Chi, yes. And I bought shares of that. I bought like the first like Darth Vader toy with the telescopic saber, bought shares of it, certain cards, LeBron, Kobe. So I have shares of that. And they first had it at Otis. And then all of a sudden they've redirected. Now everything now went to public app. So, and then I've got just 4 or 5 items that are just sitting there doing nothing right now because they're waiting for the transfer. I have no clue what's going on. So I hope I can get my items or my shares back, because they're just sitting there doing nothing. You don't see gains or anything. So I'm a little worried.
It's like when there's a market that does very well, like the hobby, for example, you'll have a lot of people try to jump in and try to recreate some service that has never been there before, to try to capitalize on all the money that's being put into the hobby, right? And we see it all the time. Like we see it with like these grading companies that pop up. We already have grading companies that are already established, that have infrastructure that we accept to add value. We have PSA, BGS, SGC. Then you have other companies that pop up and they say, we do all the same things that these companies do, but we do this extra thing that's better. And therefore, our stuff, you should accept our stuff as part of that, and you should buy it, and you should pay for this service and things like that. You'll see all these companies pop up, and then, like you're talking about, like the fractional share stuff. Whoever thought about fractional shares until the last couple of years, and then
they did not exist until the pandemic,
right? And then same thing like with the whole NFT market. NFTs were, I guess they were a thing, and then there was a gold rush where people jump in there and start making all these NFT projects, and then what happens is people get excited about it, people get FOMO, and then but unfortunately these things are not sustainable. That's the biggest thing, that these things, whether it's a product, a service, or whatever, a platform or whatever, they're not sustainable, and they just, they fall apart, and you end up losing your money and things like that. So that's this kind of reminds me of that, and it just kind of makes me a little bit cautious anytime I look at anything that's like hobby related, that's new, that falls into that digital category.
Right. And do you know anyone that's still making a profit off NFTs?
No, but I mean, to be fair, I'm not really in the NFT market. Yeah. I mean,
at first, when they were first coming out, especially, what was it, the NBA Hot Shot?
Oh, yeah.
People were, and then they did pretty much a pump and dump, but they didn't know. They just got out at the right time, which is good for them, but they made lots of money. And then I had some friends who made no money. They held on to the stuff.
That's the thing with and I got to be careful, because I don't want to piss off the NFT crowd, right? Because I know some people that have NFTs, but I don't want to piss off the crowd. I'm not part of it, so I don't want to I don't really want to speak about it a lot. But I never got into it because I just saw people. It goes back to that first point that I was trying to make. People are making money out of thin air, right? they would mint an NFT, buy it, and then a couple days later it goes for like 3-4 times as much as what they bought it for, and then they flip it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like you're making value out of thin air. And I saw this in the hobby too, where people would buy cards at a show and then they would just pass it around the show, and it would transact. That same card would transact like 4 or 5 times at a show. And
Oh yes.
it just kind of like made me realize that, when there's a lot of excitement in the market, people are basically passing bags around, and somebody's going to be left holding the bag, right? And unfortunately, that's happening with the NFT. That basically happened with the NFT market. That, as far as I know, the NFT market is pretty much cold, and nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about it because a lot of people lost value in a lot of the projects that they invested in. But that's just how it is, I guess.
And what's so funny about people, those flippers passing cards around, like you said, at the shows, it'd be always funny. By the end of the day, there'd be some guy trying to sell me some cards, and they end up being the cards that I sold to someone at the beginning of the show that day.
Dude, that's happened to me before too.
It has too?
Yeah, it's happened to me before. And I'm like, how much you want for that? And it's like if I sold a card for like $800, right? If I sold a card for $800,
yeah,
it comes back to me and it's like at $1,150.
Right.
It's like it doesn't make sense to me. But so that's one thing. And then the last point I'll make about this whole FTX scandal that is something that I want to highlight too, is like the guy who is at the center of this whole scandal is this young. He's not super young, but he's like in his 30s, like early 30s.
I think he is 30 years old, Dan.
Yeah, he's a kid, basically. He's a kid, and I feel like a lot of people in the tech industry, in all these crypto fields, if you look at them, they have one thing in common, is that they're very young, right? Right. And you see these young people, and when they do interviews, some of them are very well spoken. Some of them, speak their language of whatever field they're in, tech language or whatever. But it makes me wonder that you got to be careful. And this is like general advice, right? But you got to be careful when you do business with people, when you invest in people or anything like that, or when you trust people with your money, is that you got to make sure that they have experience and that they've proven their concept. Because I feel like with a lot of these young startups, they're like kids, and I'm not like super old myself. I'm almost 40 years old, right? So I'm like middle aged. basically, getting there. But like
you're pre-middle aged. I'm middle aged now. I think 50 is the new 40. So.
Okay. So, but we're not kids by any stretch.
No.
But you get a lot of people in their like 20s or even like really early 30s who have these grand ideas and that are creating these companies like this crypto exchange, for example, or people who create crypto currencies like that guy who had the Luna coins, or just anything in general, right? We got to be careful not to crown them as winners before they really prove their concept, because I just feel like my generation, this generation, if you grew up in like the 80s, 90s, that generation, the millennial generation, is like it's the fake it till you make it generation. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You ever heard that term? Fake it till you make it? And I feel like a lot of people are doing that right now. They're faking it, and they're getting caught now. When times are tough, they're getting caught and they're folding and they don't know what to do. And especially if you're young and you get a lot of money like this dude you don't know what to do with it. You're not mature enough to really handle that type of responsibility. And apparently with this guy, he spent a lot of money on, his living situation and building his image and all these things. And that they're saying that money was like investor money and things like that. So just like stuff like that. Right. And now who knows what's going to happen? And he's probably going to go to jail or something like that.
Oh, you think he's going to go to jail?
Yeah. But like, I think of guys like that. I think of that girl. What's her name? I forget what her name is. Elizabeth something, where she had that same scandal with Thanos. I don't know.
Oh, they just made a movie with it.
Yeah. They made a movie of her. Same thing. She was just like this young young entrepreneur, and she fooled people, and she didn't know what to do, with all her success, and it, just snowballed and things like that. So I think about that, and then I look to the hobby too. I look to the hobby when I feel like when we look at prospects, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I feel like okay, so all this, guys, I'm gonna pull it back to the hobby, right? Okay, people are probably listening to this and they're like, what the heck are these guys talking about, right? This is like a
they're
hobby
all leaving
podcast.
all kinds of funny comments right now.
But
I'm reading them.
now I'm gonna bring it back. So this is why I feel like same thing with where we are in the hobby right now. Sometimes we're too quick to crown winners, right? We're spending tons and tons of money on prospects, people who have never done anything, and a lot of times it doesn't pan out. Like a lot of cards don't pan out. So we got to be just careful about that stuff, because not the new hottest thing is not always going to be like the best thing to collect or invest in or whatever. And then same thing with like services and products within the hobby, right? If you see something new, a new grading company, a new slab product, a new service, a new marketplace, we're constantly getting new things every month in the hobby, it seems, right? A new marketplace, a new auction house, a new card show, whatever, right? So we got to be careful where we put our money, where we put our effort in, because until it gets proven, we got to be very selective about where we put our efforts and our money, especially now in the hobby. We have to be extra selective because of, the oversaturation that we have in every aspect of the hobby right now.
Oh yeah, I was going to talk to you about that as well, because like you said, I've taken a break since Dallas show. You wanted to take a break because for the past couple of years, I'm sure we're not the only ones included. I'm sure all our viewers, agree as well. They're just as guilty that we had FOMO about missing card shows, and being in the game with it until there was just way too many card shows.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you think the question is, do you think there's also too many card shows?
Well, we were talking about that last week, and I'm glad you brought that up because
because you and I are burning out. So what do we do? Have you talked to other people, like promoters and stuff?
We were talking about this last week about how these card shows are becoming too big, right? But we really didn't even touch about how many card shows are out there right now, And I was listening to Prism God. I think his real name is Ralph, Prism God. He hosted a discussion on his Instagram and he posted it. So if you guys haven't checked it out, go check out Prism God's Instagram, where he's
the promoter for Culture Collision, correct?
Yes, in Atlanta,
right.
Which is the show that we went to this year,
where we found the Kurosawa.
Right. So he had Dakota, which is the promoter for Las Vegas Card Show, on that. And then they had a bunch of other guests come in and out of the show. But basically they had the same thoughts as us. They were basically saying that the card shows now, they're too big. They don't have the foot traffic to support the size of the show. There's too many conflicting shows with each other, too many big shows. They were specifically mentioning like the first 3 months of the year, there's just back to back shows, and each show is a big show. Burbank, Dallas, Nashville,
Atlanta,
Midwest Monster,
they're all there.
Yep. Culture Collision.
Yep.
Right. And a very interesting point that they brought up that we didn't even consider is they were talking from the promoter perspective. They were talking about sponsor fatigue. We always talk about show fatigue from our perspective, but they were talking about sponsor fatigue, where they can't even, as show promoters, they're finding it more difficult to get the sponsors to come to their shows, because the sponsors only have such a limited budget that they can devote to each of these shows to send out people to go out there and market their product and
represent,
stuff,
right?
That they're finding it hard to get these sponsors. And I guess I would assume that they get paid a lot more from these sponsors than they do like the normal vendor, right? So
like who would be a sponsor? Like PSA, like who?
PSA, PWCC,
okay,
Golden, all the big companies within the hobby, right? They're finding it very difficult to get these sponsors to commit to their shows, because they're happening too close to each other. So they had a really good discussion about that. And I think that's worth discussing again here this week. Is that I feel like we're very borderline. We're at a borderline stage in the hobby where it's almost like a cash grab. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
we are growing. Like the hobby has definitely grown over the last 2 years, and the infrastructure of the hobby has had to grow to accommodate the demand, right?
Hmm.
But it's very obvious that things have slowed down the last few months. So, but the infrastructure of the hobby has not slowed down with the market. They're continuing to go at full speed the way they were, a year ago, and I think it's hurting. I think it's hurting. Well, I don't know if it's hurting, but like is the right word to say. But it's definitely hard for us to keep up with that. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It feels like a race, like a rat race, and we're trying to like keep up with it, and it's very difficult. And I'll give you an example, like the shows for example, right? For us, like to go to 2 or 3 major shows a month, it took a toll on us physically, right? For you specifically,
Yes, me
you almost
specifically.
died.
Yes,
If you guys don't know,
physically
Merlin
and
almost died.
monetarily too.
Merlin almost died. I remember in Chicago,
Oh
Merlin
no,
was like, he couldn't even move. He was like,
it's
he was
been a
like on
summer of
on the
that.
bed moaning, "Oh, I
Oh,
can't move." You know, so
something
it
happened.
it
Yes,
takes a toll to the point where next year,
I
we're
think it
not
was because of
right,
Toronto the week before,
right, and it's
because we
just like,
did Toronto one
yeah,
weekend, and the next weekend we went to Chicago
yeah,
back to back.
and it's just like, it's hard for people to keep up with all these big shows. And if you don't get people to travel into your shows, then you're just more like a regional show. And you don't have the inventory or the dealers to support a show that size. So you need to have people to come in from out of state to go to your shows, but they're just too close together and things like that, right? So to the point where we're adjusting our schedule next year, we're only going to go to like half the shows
Hmm.
that we went to this year. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean,
Um,
I know there's, that for the promoters, all they really need to sell is their tables. If they sold all their tables, they've got it made. It's up for the dealers now to make money selling. But I guess if you end up not bringing the people in who are going to spend, then the show is going to go way of the dinosaur.
Right. And see, like if you're a promoter and you don't set up your vendors to succeed at the show, if they don't make money at the show, basically,
Hmm.
they're not going to come back. Just like us.
Right.
We're not like so many people asked us to go back to like Chicago, to Toronto, you know, to Houston. We're not going back because we didn't make money, enough to support going back to that show again, right?
Right.
And this goes back to that point what I was talking about with the FTX scandal. Is like in the beginning, right? You might be able to make a little bit, but it's it's hard to sustain that level of activity or that level of success if you don't set it up properly. And I think that's what a lot of shows are seeing right now. A lot of these big shows that kind of scaled up really quick, they're definitely gonna see they're gonna see that it's gonna be hard to sustain shows that size going into next year for sure, especially if they're competing with each other too, which
Yeah,
it
you
seems
said
like they
there's so
are.
many back to back beginning of 2023.
Right, right. So I don't know what they can do about that. Some guys were suggesting like they should try to like form some type of alliance or some type of group of show promoters or something like that. But I don't know if they would ever be able to bring all those people together. But
Yeah,
we'll
it's
see.
tough.
Yeah.
I mean,
Uh,
beginning of the year, midway through this year, I think we were also complaining that there was just too many shows every weekend in Southern California area, and that's kind of dwindled down. There's not really
well,
that
you
many.
know, we saw it. We saw it in the beginning because we saw it on a local level here in SoCal where there was a show every weekend.
Mhm.
Sometimes there was a show.
There was many other
Friday,
competing ones as well.
yeah, and there were shows like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sometimes there were two shows per day,
Hmm.
right? And they were all competing against each other. And then eventually, after a while, you saw these promoters start to fall off. You saw promoters fall off. You saw promoters consolidate their shows with other promoters, and now there's just a handful of shows now. But we saw that basically. We saw
Yeah,
that.
and I started seeing people not showing up at the
Yeah,
shows that we were set up at.
yeah. So we saw that, And I think that we're going to see that on a national scale now with these big shows, which is going to be crazy to see. So that's one thing. The other thing that I wanted to talk about kind of relates to this is how marketplaces are acting. I think this year was like the battle of the marketplaces, I think, where there's like a new marketplace that pops up, new auction house that pops up. They're selling your cards. They have a big auction every week, some, every month, some every week. They have vaulting services. They have grading services now. They have all these things, right? And I think what they're doing is these auction houses scaled up to such a big level to accommodate the demand of the hobby that now they have to somehow sustain that level of activity by turning out all these auctions every week or every month, right? And I think that that's definitely playing a role in the market right now, because again, it's just like going back to my point about like creating value. You're seeing like one card pop up at an auction, sell for one amount, and then it pops up either the next month or a couple months later, and it's expected to sell for like as much or more, right? As it did the last time. And it's just like, where did the value of that card come from, in that short period of time? Like, they're turning over cards too much. They're having too many transactions, which is hurting the value of a lot of these cards because of the mindset that people have of going off of sales, right? Which is a different discussion. I'm not going to get into it tonight about comps. People know how I feel about comps all the time, but what I want to bring up here is that Cardfather actually did an interview. I forget who he did the interview for, but he posted it on his page, Burbank Card Show. And
it's on the Burbank Card Show on Instagram?
Yeah, I believe so. Okay. So shout out to Cardfather. He's my BFF. And he said that we have to move as a hobby. We have to move away from profit into more like collector mindset, which is something that me and you have been talking about for quite a while, right? Me and you, I feel like we're so far ahead of the game. All these people are talking about it, but we're so, we were talking about this for months earlier.
But no one listens.
Right? We're nobodies, right?
I know.
But anyway.
But apparently, some people, you're somebody.
But he coined a term that I thought was brilliant. He talked about forever homes.
For what'd you say?
Forever homes for cards.
Okay.
So like, people need to buy cards and put that into their PC and lock it away for a extended period of time instead of trying to flip it immediately. And if the hobby's mindset moves more towards that strategy of being more collector focused, then we'll have prices stabilize on a lot of cards in the market, right? You won't have so much turnover. A lot of turnover creates volatility in the market. The more card transact, the more volatile it's going to be, basically, right? So if we can kind of like bring all these new people into the hobby and teach them that it's about collecting first, not profit, not flipping, all that stuff, then that will help stabilize our market and help build it on a more sustainable pace. Like it grew so fast in the first, like in 2020, 21, right? It grew so fast that it was just unsustainable for it to keep up at that pace. And then it had a steep decline. So in order to prevent that, we have to kind of like gradually build it up instead of, pumping it up to astronomical levels, too quickly, basically. So I thought that was very interesting what the Cardfather was talking about, forever homes for cards. We've been talking about that for a while. I really even shifted my own strategy to more of a collector mindset earlier this year than it was. When I first got back into the hobby, I was flipping cards just like everybody else. I was buying the same things just like everybody else. And then I noticed that it was just too volatile to keep up with the market, right? You buy a card and then the next week you could get a bad comp and then you got to take a loss on it, right?
Oh gosh, yeah,
so
right.
I realized that early on, and I shifted to more of a collector mindset where I was buying like rare cards and things like that. And the last point I'll make about this, and I'll get your thoughts on it, Merlin, is these cards that we claim to be like grails, right? Cards that are super rare. We have to treat them treat them like they're rare cards, which means that if you see a 1 of 1 show up on the market, you can't buy it just to flip it right away, because the more you see it transact, the less rare it becomes, even if it's a 1 of 1, right?
Right.
So,
You can't think just because you bought it, you can double
yeah,
the figures, the
right,
price of it as well.
right. So, that's something to keep in mind too. We have to switch to more long-term mindset on some of the cards that we hold. I think I saw this post on Card Porn right now today, where they're showing like this Luca RPA that
Ooh,
sold last year or 2 years ago for like $4 million or something like that.
4 million.
Right. And now they're trying to sell it again, but it's only at 2 million. So potentially there could be a huge loss
Is
on
this
it.
an auction or?
Yeah, it's an
Okay.
auction right now. I think
And it's already up to 2 million, but
yeah,
you don't know how much longer it has, do you?
right. But
Do you know how much longer?
a couple days, a
Okay.
week maybe.
I'd be sweating bullets.
Right.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, so things like that, if you see it transact too much, it takes away from the rarity. So that's something that we have to think about also. If we're buying rare cards, we have to protect that rarity, unless we get like a stupid number for it or something like that. But you can't just buy like a 1 of 1 and then put it at auction the next month. You know what I mean? That's my Homer Simpson clock. So, okay, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think we pretty much set the bar so high when we during the pandemic, because I felt like anything you could grab your hands on and then you sent to the grading, it would come back 9 or 10. By that time you got it back from grading during the pandemic, that it was already 10 times worth more, even a base card. So we're already everybody's mindset, because I feel like a lot of the sellers and collectors and flippers, all the people, all of us, everybody in this whole marketplace was used to this insanity, or that's all they knew at that time, because a lot of these people were new to the game. I'm sure you've been doing it for a while. I hadn't done it like in 30 years until I started watching YouTubers during the lockdown when I was stuck at my apartment, and I didn't know if I was going to get another job or not, where when the studios were going to open up for editing, and then all of a sudden I'm selling cards and I'm making more money than I was for editing. It was insane. So you have much of these younger kids, teenagers, kids, like I said, 20s, even if you're 30. Sorry if I'm calling you a kid, but you're still very young. But this is what they were used to, accustomed to at this time. And now when everything's kind of plateaued and settled back to normality again, you're still used to that type of game and that process, but it's not working. It's not calculating the way you want. And so either people then at that point, they stress out, or they panic and they sell everything they have, and they just disappear. I don't know. I've seen half of the people in SoCal that we knew by name, half of them have disappeared. I'm like, where are they now?
Mm-hmm.
And you told me, they're probably out of the game because they were flippers and stuff like that. So this is kind of like a Merlin after dark comment. So maybe now is like like you said, holding on to it. So it's kind of like tantric card collecting is what I call it. How about that? Tantric, you try to hold on to it as long as you can, because at the end it'll be much more rewarding. That's the spiritual philosophy of tantric. Just hold on to it as long as you can, because at the end it'll be more rewarding. So you need to hold on to it.
Right.
So Merlin's tantric card collecting. Try it.
Boy. Oh boy. Okay. How can I respond to that? Okay.
I want to make you blush, Dan.
Yeah, I will say that just long-term investing always wins out. Always wins out.
Yes.
But the people that make the most money in the hobby are the guys that have had these grail cards the longest.
No, right.
Like these guys that you're seeing sell these record Mickey Mantle, high grade cards. They've had them for like 20 years, basically, right? Mm-hmm. They haven't bought it like 2 years ago and then trying to flip in a couple years. Like their whole period is a long time. So the longer you can hold a card, the better it's going to be for sure. And I think that to touch on what you're talking about, like the mindset of the hobby a couple years ago, we have to acknowledge that time is done. And we have to adjust our strategy if we're going to survive this next phase, this next evolution of the hobby, right? You can still do very well in the hobby. You can still have a lot of fun in the hobby. You can still make a lot of money. You can still collect a lot of great cards, but you got to be patient and you got to be in it for the long run. While when most people fall off, right? When most people quit and they lose interest and they go somewhere else or whatever, if you can sustain your level of activity in the hobby, your position in the hobby, you're going to be, up there with all the rest of the people that were able to withstand the winter that we're going to be in for a while, right? You'll be at the top for the next evolution or the next boom whenever that happens.
Well, speaking of holding on stuff, what are you squirreling now these days? I mean, are you still like, what are you buying? Are you still buying the same stuff, or because maybe the market's different, or have you changed it up? Like, what is it? What are you pumping now, dude?
Well, okay. Before we get into our newest segment, Pump What You Like, I'll give you a brief overview of what I buy now. Basically, okay. I told you this last week, but for people that didn't watch that, I'm basically buying rare cards, grail cards, okay? Like one of ones, things that are numbered under 10, or just like things that you don't see pop up easily, right? So that's where I'm really shifting my inventory to right now. I'm trying to liquidate as many of my common stuff as I can, my low end stuff, and I'm going all towards like rare cards. My goal is to show up at the next Dallas show. Probably not the next Dallas show. It's probably going to take me a good 6 months to really convert everything over, but
so maybe March, May,
something like that, and just go to Dallas and have a case of like rare one of ones or pop one grail cards that people have never seen before. That's where I'm going.
What do I feel? I have a feeling it's going to be nothing but Star Wars and wrestling.
It would be Star Wars, wrestling, Marvel, and pop culture stuff. Just rare stuff that you've never seen before. I want people to look at me as a collector. I don't want them to look at me as a flipper or as a vendor in the hobby or anything like that. I want them to look at me as like a collector who has all this crazy rare stuff with super high prices on it, right? So that if somebody wants to take it off of me, they got to pay up for it to get it. But I'm shifting my focus to that because I think that's the best way for me to kind of like enjoy the hobby and also kind of protect my investments by putting my money into rare stuff.
Well, you're really good at telling stories about your cards though too.
Yeah.
Which I like.
Yeah. If I'm the only one that has it, then I can name my price on it. Basically, that's my strategy.
Exactly. I mean, it's like you said, your card has a story, a journey before you get to where you need to sell it in your display case at a card show.
Right. Exactly.
And you're really good at that. I mean, that's what I think everybody needs to do. It's not like you can just, like you said, buy the card and just because now you own it, you can list it and double down on it.
Right.
It's not that easy.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's where I'm buying my stuff, and I would encourage people to do the same thing. I still see a lot of people trying to like buy in and flip common base cards and things like that.
That's crazy, really?
Yeah, I still see that, but I just think that stuff should just be left for like entry level collectors who want to collect players that they like and things like that. But if you're looking to like really buy cards that hold value, you got to go to rarity. Rarity is the name of the game right now.
Yeah, and like you said, vintage still sells well too. It's funny how it moves.
Vintage is a different category.
Yes.
Yeah, vintage is a different category. If you're buying modern cards, you got to buy super rare cards. Vintage cards, I honestly think you could do well with all types of vintage cards, even common vintage cards, high pop cards, because there's always going to be demand for vintage cards, which I'm probably going to get. Probably, a quarter or a third of my inventory will be vintage cards going into next year.
Yeah, because I noticed like when I have some, when you have some, and Mo Paper Gemz has a lot next to our table. I mean, it's always selling every show we're at. I noticed that. I mean, every time I have a vintage card, it sells with the next show.
Yeah, vintage does well. Vintage is like one of the cards that I would flip. Right, if I got a vintage card, I could easily flip it. And you can make money on that kind of stuff because it's different. It's like
crazy.
They don't go by grades. This is what I've noticed with vintage. They don't go by grades. They go by eye appeal. So you could
That's
have
right.
a low grade vintage card, a PSA 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, and you're not necessarily fighting the last comp. You're fighting against the eye appeal of the card, right? If it's well centered, if it doesn't have a crease, if it doesn't have a stain, if it has good color, those are the kind of things you're looking for rather than just the grade of the card. So vintage is a very interesting market. I'm definitely going to get more into vintage next year. I think that's a fun play to get into. It's just that I don't, you know, sports is like I focus more on pop culture, so I'm less interested in sports right now, so that's why I'm not buying a lot of stuff, but eventually I'll get back into it. And I'm gonna be pulling out vintage pop culture cards at some point, like
Ooh.
Marvel stuff. I've got Disney stuff in the mix, so you can expect to see more of that.
Star Wars too.
Well, vintage Star Wars only goes back to like 1977. I want to go farther than that.
Oh, oh
I will
wow.
have some 1977
Oh,
Star
that's right.
Wars
Because
for sure.
I've been seeing. I watched the guy, Junk Wax guy. What's his name? Junk Wax investor guy, or whatever, who always shows like the top 10 of the week. And he's been. Have you seen like his non-sports cards?
You mean the
And
wax
it's
preview?
always the top ones. Lately, I've been seeing the same cards. It's been the Superman cards, the Batman cards, as of lately, and and those are from like the 60s, I believe, 50s and 60s.
I'm going to show you something right now. Give me a second.
And I mean, they're pretty awesome. But if you notice, go back and watch like the last three or four shows, which takes about this past month. Your top 10 cards are always those Superman or Batman cards, vintage cards. And then a lot of the Marvel, but the Marvel is like from the early 90s, like the masterpieces and stuff.
Yeah, so, I'll be buying cards like this. I've been stacking these cards. I don't even bring them out of shows, but like the 1966 Batman card.
I think it's from that series. Yes.
Yeah,
That's it.
I think these things will be in demand at some point. So
No, they already are, man.
Yeah. 1938 Mickey Mouse
Oh,
cards.
wow. Oh, it's a card you got graded.
Disney cards. I graded this card.
Oh, is that the one you picked up at Dallas a few months ago?
Came back in 8. Can you believe that? Came back
That's
in 8.
awesome.
Yeah.
1938 Mickey Mouse playing card.
So, I'm going to balance out my inventory. Probably like a third of it is going to be like vintage cards like this and some baseball, some basketball, but mainly I'm going to stick to my pop culture niche.
Yeah, you've even I hate to say it, but you have flipped a few Walt Disney rookie cards as well.
I have, and I bought another one. I probably shouldn't have bought it, but
You did?
I did.
A higher grade or just another grade?
It's a high grade card.
Okay.
It's a high grade card. I don't have it in my possession yet, so I don't want to show it off. But I did purchase another one of those, so you'll see it. I'm going to be that guy that has all these old Walt Disney cards, things like that.
Well, don't fix one ain't broken.
Yeah, but vintage is always key. So I think you got to have a good mix of vintage if you're trying to have a balanced portfolio. You got to have a good amount of vintage. Plus, you can do the modern stuff, which is more fun. Modern is more fun to me, right? Like I love seeing these nice new shiny cards, all these things out here. But you got to have at least a little bit of vintage because it always does well.
Oh yes.
Okay. Anything else before we move to the next segment?
No. Let's go to the next one.
Okay, next one. I don't have anything to talk about, but do you have anything? What is anything bending your corner this week?
Oh, we gonna do the bend the corner next?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, no, this is not even card related, but I'm just gonna say this because it's so funny. I just wanted to share it with my audience. So I ordered a T-shirt on Amazon, and I wanted it to be, something reflected, that for more world cards or between two slabs, I could wear at a card show as a joke. And so I put, how you can do your own, personal T-shirt, and then they send it to you, and they've worked before. So put all the information in. I got the shirt, and actually I got it right before Dallas because I wanted to wear it for Dallas. But instead, the shirt I got says this, which is the same as the ad. They never put the inscription on my T-shirt.
Wow. Me.
But
okay.
I mean, it wasn't much money spent. Anyway, they refunded me anyway, and they told me to keep the shirt. But I mean, if you want your personalized T-shirt. There it is.
All right. So that's
So
what
that's it.
week, right?
Another thing, no one's really been bugging me on the card market thing.
Speaking of shirts, real quick, let me just
Okay.
show off this
Oh
one.
yeah.
This is our official Between Two Slabs t-shirt collab with our friend Mo from Paper Gemz.
Yes.
So this shirt, notice how my arms are bigger, noticeably bigger than yours, Merlin.
Fantasy.
Okay?
That's the unicorn talking.
This shirt will be available soon. If you guys want to support us and support Paper Gemz, this shirt will be available on his website soon, and we'll have it basically premiere at our Star Wars night that we're planning at DAPS Sports.
Yeah, check out Paper Gemz. That's paper _ then GEMZ on Instagram, and you can see a lot of his cards. He sells a lot of vintage, a lot of cool, rare sports cards, and you can see his T-shirt apparel as well. Really good stuff. He's always going to all the shows, selling it, and very successful at it. So check him out, and maybe there's a shirt on there you might like. So hit him up if you like it.
Yeah, check it out, guys. If this shirt sells out, it's very limited production. He only made like 25 or something like that. But if it sells out, he said that he'll design more shirts for us. So if you guys,
he'll make my arms bigger.
Right. If you guys want to get merch and stuff, we want to support our friend Paper Gemz.
Yes, okay. Do it. Also, dude. So okay, we didn't even talk about. So what you were talking about pumping. What are you dumping? Because these trolls are always accusing you of pumping and dumping. But now you're not at card shows anymore. So how are you pumping and dumping right now? And how do you feel about that?
What are you talking about? The trolls?
Yeah, because I'm going on your like Instagram and YouTube, and you're still getting hell for it. So I mean, what's going on? Are they just bored out of their mind? And also, we didn't talk about this pre-show either. What's going on with AIH and card porn?
I have no idea. Fill me
in. Well, you may want to check that out. I don't know. It seems like they're in a riff or something. I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about it the next show. But if any people in the viewers know, leave it in the chats.
Okay.
But anyway, speaking of, it's the same old people giving the same old shit.
So this has become a reoccurring segment on our show. Seems like. So I think we should give it a name. Okay, for this segment, we should call it "What's Under the Bridge." What is under the bridge this week? In terms of
because the troll is under the bridge. I got it.
You see what I did there? You see what I did? Okay, so this segment will be called "What's Under the Bridge." I don't know what happened with. I'm just gonna call him I. Okay, I don't want to say AIH is it's too much. I'm just gonna call him I. Okay. I don't know what's going on with him, so I can't speak to him. And honestly, I've said this many times before. Since he has a smaller platform than us, I view him as harmless, so I'm not really gonna engage with him that often. Although he does leave some little snarky comments on our lives. After they go to YouTube and they post there, he leaves some comments. Like last week, he was offended that I make these memes on Instagram that he thinks is specifically about him, but they're not. They're mainly about those radio dudes. But I guess he's in there too because he's associated with them. But he was upset that I was making those memes. But he makes reaction videos to me, so it's like you can't act like a jerk to somebody and not expect to get some type of a comment in return or something like that, right? So, but for the most part, he's harmless. So I don't know what's going on between him and card porn. I don't follow his page or anything like that. So somebody, maybe they can fill me in. But the other guys, the radio dudes, and I should clarify. I think now that somebody sent me some information about those guys, I think it's only one. So okay, so I don't want to say it's because I know they're two brothers.
They're twins.
They're twins. So, but one of them seems to be very reasonable. One seems to be very normal, level-headed, and then one is a sociopath, the ugly one. That's what I call him. I call him the ugly one. He's a sociopath. He's the guy that like rages out and gets all upset and curses and insults people. He's that guy, right?
Oh, it's like that movie from the 80s. I forget what it was called. Dead Ringers.
Yeah, so they keep like, I don't know why they've become obsessed with me. They're like almost as obsessed with me as I is obsessed with me, because they've been making posts on their social media pages, their Instagrams or whatever. They posted this like collage. This kind of annoyed me. Okay, they posted this collage of all these people in the hobby.
Yeah,
Okay?
montage.
Yeah, it was a picture of all these people in the
Okay,
hobby.
okay. Oh, yeah, okay, yes.
Collage.
Gotcha.
And it was like a who's who of everybody, all the content creators, who's who, everybody in the hobby. You got Rick Probstein, you got Jeff Wilson, you got Ken Golden, you had Nat Turner, you had Car Collector 2, you had Mojo, you had Josh Luber, right? People that own businesses in the hobby, multimillionaires, really well-known people who have tens of thousands of social media followings. And then he put the guy in the FTX thing in there too, right? For whatever reason, he put that guy in there.
And then you're in there too?
And then he put a bunch of other people who I don't even recognize. Maybe they come from outside the hobby or something like that.
Okay.
And then he put a picture of me in there. So again, I don't know why. Like, he thinks these dudes, they think I'm huge. Apparently they don't follow me. I know for a fact they
nice
don't.
Company to keep, be part of.
I take it as a compliment, because they're putting me up there with these dudes. So I'll take it as a compliment. And even if they don't like those people, you have to admit that those people are ultra successful at what they do, right? All those people are like heads of big companies, have a lot of money, have found success in the hobby and other places of business. So I gladly would love to be in that circle with those people. I don't know any of those people. I know Jeff Wilson a little bit, but other than that, I don't know any of those people. But I would love to be up there with them. I would love to sit at a table and talk to those guys and absorb their knowledge, right? So I take that as a compliment. But for whatever reason, these guys like are obsessed with me, and they keep putting me in this category as like I'm on the same level as those people. You know what I mean? And I don't understand why they do it. I can only suspect. Okay, this is my conspiracy theory about this. I suspect that our friend I from Chicago, has done what I say this all the time, guys. He has created a false sense of grievance in the Radio Brothers about me. He has probably talked to them and said, this guy, the great curator, he does this, he does that, this and that. You guys should go get him. Okay, he's bad for the hobby, blah, blah, blah. And without looking into my content, without following me, without talking to me, they have just listened to him, and they have formed an opinion based off of his opinion about me. And now they're lumping me into the categories of all the people that they call out on their show and things like that. And I just think it's so odd. It's like every week they just do another thing, and they lump me into that group. And I think that if they took like 10 minutes to watch our show or scroll through my Instagram or something like that, they would realize that I just don't fit that category of the people that they talk about. You know what I mean? And I think that
you're just not worth the energy.
yeah, honestly, I mean, again, like they are letting me, like, these guys have a bigger platform than us. They have like 17,000 subscribers on YouTube, right? They have a bigger platform than us, and they are continually week over week letting me hijack their platform by calling me out, putting my face on there, putting my name out there. And it's just, all it's doing is getting me more followers. And I keep telling them that. So whatever they're trying to do, it's not working, because if they're trying to like, make fun of me or whatever, it's not working, because I make fun of myself. Okay. For starters.
Oh, yes, you do. Yes, you do.
I make fun of myself all the time. So they can't make more fun of me than I do myself. But they're just giving me their platform, and I'm getting more followers from them. So that's great. When they started attacking me a couple weeks ago, I had 11,500 people on Instagram, like 11,500 on Instagram that were following me. Now I'm close. I'm like at 13,600 in a matter of weeks since they started attacking me. So it's been great exposure for me, to be honest. But I just don't think, I don't know what I is telling them that's getting them so riled up. And to be clear, right. It's only the ugly one. It's only the sociopath that is really upset. The other guy on his stream, somebody sent me, I think Adrian sent me a voice clip of the stream that they were talking about me.
Okay.
the other brother said, "Oh, this guy's harmless. This guy's not anything that we say that he is. He's not that bad. He's harmless. He's just very passionate about collecting." Like he's like, so there's one brother, the good-looking one, who said that, who knows what he's talking about, right? But it's the other one that's a sociopath that has somehow been poisoned by that he's just attacking me every week. So, anyways, whenever I see them post something, I gotta post something too. You know what I mean? Like I don't make it directly about them, but I try to make it a little bit more broad, talking about trolls in general. But I think they take offense to it or something like that. But I'm having fun with it. But again, I just think that I don't, I just don't understand why they keep going after me as if I'm like on the top level of all those people. Like, let's be honest, okay? You've seen like those people that have got like these big sponsorship deals by whatnot, and they're having like these videos like $50,000 spending at a card show.
Yeah,
Like our friend, Jeff Wilson has one. Mojo has one, right? That doesn't apply to us at all, right? You see those people make videos.
I bet you wish.
Right. You see those people making videos about like, oh, I made this amount of money at this show within a couple hours or whatever. That doesn't apply to us, Like it's just, I think they're only attacking me.
You never discussed that.
Yeah, they're only attacking me because we collect Marvel cards, I guess.
And Star Wars.
You know what I mean?
Star Wars,
Marvel cards, pop culture cards. They're, that dude is attacking us for that reason or whatever it is. And it just makes me wonder, like, if we were talking about sports cards, right? Like if we were talking about like LeBron James, Tom Brady cards, baseball cards, rookie cards, or whatever, I don't think that we would be on their radar at all, to be honest. So the reason that they're singling us out because we're collecting pop culture cards, and they don't think it's valuable or whatever, I take a little bit of issue with that. So I don't mind punching back a little bit at them whenever they say something stupid. But this is what upset me about this. They had the whole collage on there, right? And then I'll get your thoughts on this. This is the last sentence I'll say about this. They had the whole collage on there, and they basically said that if you follow any of these people, you have low IQ, right? So they're essentially calling like 90% of the hobby that follows all these people stupid, essentially. Well,
that's going to be pretty much over 90% of the
and I just thought that
hobby.
I just thought that was really I just thought that statement was, I don't know if they're like trying to be funny or something like that, but I just think that statement in itself is stupid. I just think that calling like 90% of the hobby dumb, low IQ because they follow, all these people for entertainment purposes. I just think, I don't know what these guys are trying to do in the hobby. And what kind of upsets me about this, and then this is the last thing I say, guys, I promise. What upsets me about this is like they're trying to create friction in the hobby. They're trying to create conflict, right? They're trying to
I guess it works, doesn't it?
They're provocateurs, right?
Yes.
And I've talked about this before. They're content creators. These dudes don't care about the hobby the way that we care about the hobby. They content creators. They're not creative enough to make fun content, so they make controversial content so that they attack people so they get their views. I understand that. But it's like they're ruining the fun for a lot of people, right? They're attacking people. They're making people feel bad. They're trying to start fights, and it's just like ruining the essence of the hobby. And I look at where we are in the world right now. I look at some of the crazy things like the FTX scandal where everybody lost a lot of money, right?
Mm-hmm.
I look at what's happening, in Ukraine, and like we're like we might be on the brink of World War III right now.
I know, right?
What happened today? I look at all this crazy shit that happens in the hobby. I mean, I look at all this crazy shit that happens in the world, right?
Right.
And it's like we try to make the hobby like an escape. You know what I mean? Like I've talked about this before, where we have very limited time that we can devote to our hobby. And we want the hobby to be an escape from the real world. And we want it to be fun, welcoming, a place where we enjoy interacting with people. And then you got these content creators out there like those guys who just want to incite conflict, with people, and I just don't understand that, you know. So that's what I don't like about that. And as they continue to poke fun at me, I'm gonna poke fun at them. I'm gonna make my memes on Instagram because I've got a lot of them. I got a lot of them, guys, and I'm gonna make my memes to kind of punch back until these guys chill out a little bit, or at least leave me alone. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen for a while. Maybe he just wants you on the shows, and those guys want you on the show. I don't know.
I'm not that
are
big.
you talking about them?
I'm not like they have their platform is 3 times the size as mine, and it's like I don't think they know who I am. You know, I think they've been brainwashed by they've taken I under their wing, and he's brainwashed them, and now they're like doing all these crazy things. There's probably bigger fish to fry out there than me.
Well, if they want to, maybe we'll give them the next several months until we go to the National at Chicago. They can come visit us at Chicago, especially since he is from Chicago. If you want to come and meet us, here's your chance,
Right?
Here's your chance to meet us. Come to the National Sports Car Convention next July.
Yeah,
end of July.
But I think those guys have burned a lot of bridges, so it would be
buy yourself a ticket.
Yeah, it would be tough for them to go to that, but who knows?
VIP.
Yeah, you can always turn yourself around too. Like, you know,
yes.
you can start out by making really bad, negative content, but you can turn it around. You know what I mean? Right. You can rebrand yourself. Like he could call himself the King of Pops, you know, and make content about like Funko Pops. We should call him that. We should, instead of calling him we should call him the King of Pops. And have him focus his content on that. And those other dudes, I don't know what they do, but they can always make more positive content. The hobby is very welcoming. The hobby can be very forgiving to people as long as we have a common interest. I think that there's room for everybody. Mm-hmm. But if you're just going to try to like make people feel bad and call people stupid and try to pick fights with people, it's like, what are you doing here? You know?
Oh yeah. Well, I tell you that, that someone bought one of my BTS cards on ComC, and I went there to look at through the auction, and then I sent some more to ComC, and I was just going to put them at a set price. And then I noticed there was another one already listed, and I was like, oh, it must be the person who bought mine, because there's no other ones around, I know. And I went to see who was the owner of it, and lo and behold, it was Sports Card Radio. I
selling
did this
BTS cards
yesterday. So when I had just talked to you before the show, I went to try to do a screenshot because he had it listed at $20. I mean, I sold the car maybe for $11 on auction, which sucked. But oh well. And he had it listed for $20. But when I went to go earlier to try to do a screenshot to send to you, someone else had bought it, and now they're listing it at $50. But I know Sports Card Radio exists on ComC.
Talk about.
And he was buying a pop culture card. I don't know which brother owns, or if they both own it together, or if it's the same people. Okay. But it's kind of coincidental.
Breaking news! Sports Card Radio pumping BTS cards. Oh my god!
Well, he already dumped it already.
Oh, pump and dump. Actually, I'll give them credit for that, because if that's them, I'll give them credit, because Korean K-pop cards, BTS cards. Yes. I mean, what could be hotter than those guys? If you know them, then you would understand.
Well, he bought it for $11 from me, sold for $20, and now the person who bought it from him is trying to sell it for $50.
I picked up some BTS cards early in the year, and I flipped
me too.
Quick.
You can't grade them though. The only ones I could get graded was those Uno cards.
Yeah, they're huge, globally. So I could definitely see them, having cards. I mean, if I could find more, I would buy them for sure. Mm. Okay. On to our next segment. Next segment is going to be called, before we go into mail days, we're going to be highlighting things that new stuff that we got. So we're going to call this segment Pump What You Like. Pump what you like. What are you pumping these days, Merlin?
Besides these arms, so I can get them bigger on the t-shirt next time. Dude, like wrestling, because I want to try to gear up. I'm hoping, I sent you the link, so I'm hoping we can do that show in the end of March, right?
Yeah.
And wherever it's going to be, somewhere near SoFi Stadium, somewhere in Los Angeles, right?
Yeah.
You took a look at it, right?
Yes.
So yeah, I like to do that setup. So it'd be great if we have a bunch of Star Wars ready. Of wrestling ready at a wrestling convention show, memorabilia show. We'll be the ones with the cards. So maybe it's the right time. And anyway, I got these back from grading. This is one of your favorite sets. It's the Transcendence from 2021.
Oh, Io Shirai, nice.
Who's now Io Sky?
Uh-huh.
Because I spell everything. The name now is IYO than Sky. But yeah, it's Io Shirai. And that one was a green one, numbered out of 15. And then I had the regular one numbered out of 25. They're both dual grading on card autos. They're very heavy because of the gold metal framing around the card, thick cards. These are the ones I got from Kelly, I believe. And this is dual grading. They've all got 9s, auto 10, so that's good. And then her tag team partner, Dakota Kai, who is from New Zealand. Kiwi here. She also got a 9-10. That's a green one. And also after that, I got this one, which is cool. Most people think that this guy's rookie card is from any of the Panini cards. And he's on one of the biggest popular factions right now, groups. But actually, I was able to find a Topps card of his only Topps card from 2021. Guess who this wrestler is?
I don't know.
He's in the one of the biggest factions right now, if not the biggest. Yeah, probably the biggest one, well known, which you should know.
The Bloodline?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Sami Zayn or
no?
I don't know.
No. Who would only have one starting at 2021?
That guy's name, Koa?
Solo Sikoa.
Yeah.
Who is the brother of the Usos.
Ooh,
He's not honorary Usi. I'm an honorary Us.
Yeah.
But this is a 2021 Transcendent VIP party, 1 of 1.
Ooh.
Blue and dark blue. So it's pretty cool.
Nice.
But after that, that's all he has of Topps. After that, it's the Panini cards.
Yeah. Which
are pretty cool. Like his selects are really cool. And then also I got this back that got fixed from Mr. Minty. I'll tell you right now. It was in bad condition. I got this card for a really good price because I knew it was going to be in bad condition. I graded it myself, being about a 6 at the best. So I was contacting Mr. Minty. Check him out on Instagram. Mr. Minty, so that's another shout out already. And he, prepped it for me for grading and told me the truth. He goes, man, you'll be lucky as hell to get an 8, but realistically, I think you're going to get a 7. And lo and behold, he was correct. I got a 7 of this card. This is a black refractor of Legacies, Roman Reigns and The Rock, and it came back a PSA 7. So Mr. Minty was on point with that one. So thank you very much. Dan, how about you, buddy?
One mail day I'll show you, and then I'll show you what I'm pumping this week here is I got this Eddie Guerrero Transcendent sketch card.
Where'd you find that?
On eBay. I got it.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting into these right now.
Because you had the Macho Man already.
I had the Macho Man. Now I have the Eddie Guerrero. Everybody always asks me about Eddie Guerrero at every show when they look at my wrestling card.
Yes.
So this guy, he's got a strong collector base of people that love him. He's a legend.
He has a huge fan base.
Yeah. So I got this. I think this is pretty cool. I really like these sketches. I'm looking.
These artwork is great.
Yeah, it is an original sketch signed by the artist, 1 of 1. Very cool, Transcendent, very fit card. Check that out, guys.
Now, is it the same artist as the Macho Man, or the two different artists? It is. Okay.
Where's my Macho Man card? I'm not going to grab it. But
it is a solid sketch, Jake. Yeah. I agree with you, man.
So got that. So yes, I am very excited for that wrestling show in a couple months. I am building up my own wrestling inventory for that. I think that's going to be super cool. But the last couple weeks, what I have been obsessed with is coming out of Dallas is Pixar cards. You see them all over my Instagram right now. I've been ripping these things. So this is what I'm pumping this week is my Pixar collection. This is the Luxo lamp card.
Okay.
This is the super rare, what's it called? Soul card.
Came out a couple years ago, right? Cars.
It's secret rare, SR. This is the secret rare Doc Hudson that I pulled. My promo
cool.
Incredibles card, and I did pull a gold stamp Buzz Lightyear. Looks like a superfractor kind of,
It does.
with all that gold on it. So I did pull this. So I'm having a ton of fun opening these boxes. It's funny. I bought this case, right? And I've been opening a couple boxes, but people keep hitting me up on Instagram asking me they want to buy boxes from me. And I'm like, I'm reluctantly selling a couple of these boxes here and there because I want to open these things myself. They're hard to get, from Japan. These things are hard to source.
Do you think you're going to get any of those cards graded? And keep
maybe, maybe. I mean, like, I don't know if it's worth it. Honestly, I like some of these things.
You don't think that Buzz Lightyear, the gold stamp, is worth it?
Like this Buzz Lightyear, I think it's worth like $125 or something like that.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, raw.
Oh,
So
wow.
graded, who knows? I might do it just for fun. I might send them in. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm having a ton of fun opening these things. If anybody wants any of these cards or anything like that, or any cards from any movies, these things are going to be great stocking stuffers for anybody during Christmas time. If you want to get your wife or your kids or a friend or whatever into collecting, get them some of these cards. It doesn't even have to be box. It doesn't even have to be packs. You can just put together individual card packs for them, movie packs. I'm putting together a lot of like movie specific packs so that I can give out and sell and things like that. But these are a lot of fun, so people should check this out.
Yeah, and they won't break the bank for you either. So if you want to buy some of your kids, they're a great price.
Yeah, they're not expensive, and the artwork is really cool. It's straight from the movie. It's really well done set. So check it out. You'll have a lot of fun getting into those cards. Okay. Mail day, pump what you like. Let's get into our last couple segments here. Shout outs. We're gonna do a new segment, guys, where we shout out other content creators that we like, that we interact with. So we're gonna try to give people our platform a little bit and bring some attention to them. So we'll do that, and then we'll take comments, and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
So for this week, the guys that I want to shout out are my friends at who do I want to shout out? I'm going to shout out Drake's PC. Drake's PC this week. He's a big wrestling collector, and
it sounds like a Drake fan too.
And his name is Drake.
Oh, it is Drake. Oh, wow. Yeah. There's more than just one Drake.
Sorry. Yeah, he's a wrestling collector. We see him at Dallas every once in a while.
Oh, yes.
He hosted a wrestling Instagram live a couple days ago where he got a bunch of people to show their like top 10 wrestling cards, and people were just pulling out grails. People were pulling out one-of-one superfractors, autographs, vintage cards, all these crazy cards. I thought it was super cool. He didn't invite me though, so I felt left out. But everything else on there was super cool.
I didn't even know about it.
Yeah. So
as much as I collect wrestlling cards, I didn't even know about it.
You can check him out on Instagram.
What's it called again? Drake's
PC.
Drake's PC.
Yeah, he always has all these crazy wrestling cards. He's the owner of the Vince McMahon and Stone Cold Steve Austin Superfractor.
Oh man,
super jealous of him. Transcendent Superfractors. Yeah, so super jealous of him. And then what else do I want to say about him? He does lives with sports card therapists all the time, and they always got really good discussions. So go check out those guys.
Okay, just following him now. Great, look at his cards. Yes, a lot of cool stuff. He has sports too. He likes football and wrestling.
Okay, anybody you want to shout out before we go to comments?
Oh, of course. I already said Mr. Minty, who will, prep your cards. He doesn't fix them. He preps them. It's legal and proper. And, he does it the correct way. So don't give him hell. So great guy. But he'll also tell you what grade you should expect realistically on your card as well when you send it in for grading. But check him out online at Instagram at Mr. Minty. He sells his kits on there as well, and hit him up because he's selling out like crazy last I heard. And then there's Mo Paper Gemz, who does our t-shirts that Dan just showed you. He's wearing right now, not mine because mine wasn't done properly, but get the if you want to buy the Between Two Slabs t-shirts, there's probably only about, this is super rare, secret rare, and it's probably like 20 left. So go to Paper Gemz, that's with a Z, so paper_GEMZ at Instagram. And then, one of my favorite regulars I have on my show, and I'm on his show as well, is Flipping Steve. He's been one of my favorites since day one of the pandemic. That's like one of the first videos I ever started watching on YouTube when we were like in lockdown here in Los Angeles. And I couldn't even leave, my apartment. But he, got me through the same way like Jeff, sports card investor. And I discovered this whole underground world of card collecting. And then it started proceeding with, after that, Dustin, who used to be personal finance dad. Now he's a sports card dad. But these guys always come and see us at the National. They see us a lot of shows, and they hang out at our booth all the time. I mean, you've met them too, Dan. And you've met them at the trade nights and stuff, right? Flippin' Steve and Dustin, you've met them several times. So great guys. And if you haven't discovered them yet, I'm sure most of you have, go and check them out because they're pretty much, Dustin posts daily and Flippin' Steve posts 3 or 4 times like a week. And they're also funny guys too. So I've learned a lot from them. So check them out.
Okay, cool. Let's get to some comments here.
I know we've got a bunch, dude. They're building up. Adrian, CV Sports Cards. Hey, dudes. What's up, Adrian? Toa, Curator Army Mount Up. Toa loves saying that every week. He has to say that in all caps, man.
He's an OG supporter of the show. So we definitely love him.
Ed, evening fellas from H-Town. Good to see you, Ed. Can't wait to see you in beginning of 2023. Ed, Merlin, where's your stogie? Oh, my God, Ed. If you saw me smoking one of those right now, I'd be coughing up a storm. This place, my girlfriend would kill me if she'd see smoke coming out of this room. Aaron, Feed the Gods. Good evening. What's up, buddy?
I'm going to highlight this comment
is that cigar lit?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's not.
Would Ann kill you too if you lit it up in that room?
Yeah, I'm not allowed to do this. This is mainly for looks, guys. This is mainly for looks. It makes me feel like a mob boss. That's about it.
Yeah, see, that's after like shows. Dan and I will hit like a bar, a cigar, and whatever whiskey bar, and we'll drink some scotch and smoke a stogie. And then I'm coughing all night.
We gotta make these shows. Like my strategy going into shows next year, I already know. I'm not gonna stop going to shows because I just love the experience of shows. And at every show, even if I don't make a lot of money, I still move a couple cards here and there, right? There's always like one card that makes the show worthwhile. But my attitude going into next year's shows is I'm gonna make it more about the experience of going to shows.
True. I mean, we didn't sell a great amount, like we said, in Dallas this last time, which was just last week. But man, I tell you, I had one of the best times ever in Dallas this past time.
And I think we need to do more of that. I think we need to go to like nice dinners. We need to have drinks,
well, the camaraderie too, just hanging out with everybody, and everybody was hanging out at our table at trade night and everything. We were just having a blast. I mean, that was so much fun. I didn't want it to end. That's
going to be my attitude going into next year. Just have fun going to these shows and making more of an experience, making more of a weekend getaway out of it,
Mm-hmm.
And one more thing I want to say about, you were naming all those people that you wanted to give shout outs to.
Okay.
I would love to see you interview a lot more people on your own separate channel.
I know I was reminiscing. I was looking at the old videos back in the day that I started doing when we were coming out of the lockdown and the shows. And that's when I met you. And oh my God, I forgot I even did that stuff.
Yeah.
And it amazed me how fun they were. And I noticed they all had like 3,000 views. They all had like in 1,000 views. And I know they were beginning when I was like one of the only YouTubers at the time.
Right.
But I enjoyed watching them. And I guess that's why other people did. That's probably why I have a lot of views, because people enjoy them.
Bringing back. I think that would definitely.
I need to bring it back. I need to bring Merlin, Merlin Cosell is what people called me.
Yeah.
Back. Zach of all trades. It's a scam to trap retail investors.
So Zach here, he's talking about our discussion about FTX. Going back to the earlier part of this this live stream here, I think that's right. I think that's something that we have to understand. Whenever I look at something, I always try to like understand the process of why people are doing something, right? If you're hosting a show, why are you, how do the promoters make money? If you're a content creator, how do you get views, And then, so I always look at products and services and try to understand like why they're doing it and what their goal is. And what he's saying here is basically like, the crypto exchange, right? They made a service to try to get retail investors. A retail investor is like a person that is like you and me, that just everyday people that have a little bit of money to invest in the market. We put it in there. We're not going to get super rich off of it, but it's going to make us feel good for putting our money somewhere. That's a retail investor. It's like a trap to get people. That's what he's saying about that FTX scam. But I think that could apply to some services in the hobby too, like the fractional share things. Like it's a way to get people who don't want to be fully invested in the hobby to kind of dip their toes, but whether it's going to actually pay off for them or not, who knows, right? So I think we just have to be kind of wary of that kind of stuff when we're looking at different products and services.
True. Okay, who do we have next?
Let me screen some of this
here. Derek, Dan, you need to invest in Adam Bob Garbage Pail Kid rookie card in your collection. Yeah, you haven't invested in anything in Garbage Pail Kids, and they're actually picking up in sales as well.
Yeah, I've never been a big Garbage Pail Kid fan. My brother collected that growing up, and I just remember as a kid looking at those things. They were like disgusting to me, like the artwork on them. They're like, I'm not a big fan of those. Although there is one Garbage Pail type card that I want out there. I'm not going to mention what it is. I'm negotiating to get it, but I might get one, okay? But it's not going to be Adam Bomb because I'm just not a fan of that.
Yeah, but it's funny because and also in Junk Wax Investor, that's another YouTuber I want to shout out to. I watch his stuff all the time during the Junk Wax era. It means like the 90s, 80s. In the top 10, it's always a Garbage Pail Kid card as well, doing well.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Who else we got?
A lot of people are commenting about this FTX thing. I think I might have hit a nerve with people. some people are maybe lost money in that.
Hey, let's hear what they have to say.
Well, let's not get into that. I think
don't want to dwell into that anymore.
No, I think if we start highlighting these comments,
we'll get stuck in that. Okay, gotcha.
They're gonna go off the rail. So we gotta. Sorry, guys.
Let's do it.
Sorry, guys. We want to keep the conversation going, but we don't want to get into like a crazy just upset people. You know what I mean? Let's see here.
Abel Diaz. He's another person who I want to shout also on YouTube.
Whatever happened to Abel?
Abel, where have you been, man? I still watch your videos, and I was reminiscing about you as well, wondering why I have not seen you in like eons. I know we haven't been coming to shows too, but let me know when you're at the next show so we can hook up. But he said Cardstock, 805, LA Proper, Premiere. They were all happening the same weekends. And you can also include Diamond 9. They were all having their shows the same weekend, every weekend. Was flipping during the peak, now collecting during the crash. I hear you, man.
Right.
So there's one person who had to readjust. Ripping list. Kelly, my secret to selling and getting high prices to let the buyer feel like he's tenderizing you.
Yeah, he's got me a couple times.
Did you feel like you were tenderizing him, and then at the end you realized you just got tenderized?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, Kelly gets me all the time. But you know what? Kelly, the thing about Kelly is he's got rare cards. He's got like one of ones.
Yes.
Like that. So it's like whenever you deal with somebody who has like a one of one card or like the only card available of that, I mean, if you want it, you got to pay up for it, And sometimes it hurts to do that. Like everybody wants to get a deal, right? If a card is listed for $1,000, you want to pay $900 for it or less, right? You want to feel like you're getting a deal. So you always want to tenderize somebody, but with people who own like rare cards, it's like you're at their mercy. And a couple times that I've dealt with Kelly, he's got me because he just has rare cards, and it's like, and he's the rare combination of having rare cards. Well, it's not a rare combination. He's the dangerous combination. Okay, the dangerous combination of having rare cards and having diamond hands. Yes.
That's where he first found out what diamond hands were.
He doesn't care about selling anything. It's like, it's my price. You give me my price.
It's no big deal. Yeah.
And this is how I knew who I was dealing with when I was negotiating with Kelly. I asked him. I said, "How many?" He has all these Transcendent WWE boxes, right? I mean, cards, right? He's got like 50,
he always does. Yes.
got like 50 of them. And I'm like, dude, how'd you get so many of these? And he's like, I ripped it. And I was like, what? You ripped the case? And he's like, I ripped 7 cases of WWE Transcendent. And I was like, 7 cases? Those cases are like 12 grand when they came out, 12, 13 grand. He's like, yeah, I just did it. so
he's so nonchalant about it.
Yeah.
So
at that point, I knew when I was dealing with Kelly, I was like, this guy, there's no reasoning with him. So, so anytime I want a card from Kelly, I got to pay up for it. Okay, next comment here.
We have Jay. Dan, sounds like you're going my route. High-priced vintage non-sports. That's all I've done in Dallas for 2022. Oh yeah, Jay. That we always see. Yes.
Yeah, definitely going towards the more rare, high-end stuff. I figure I could go to like low end, but then I got to do a lot of transactions to kind of grind it out, or I could just go to high end and sell like one card and have my whole show to be basically paid for. So for me, I don't like to carry a lot of inventory. I don't like to hustle and grind the cards. It's just not enjoyable for me. So I'm definitely going the more like rare high end route, and I've been doing that the last couple months.
Great idea. VK on comics. Sky's falling. Cash out. It's all going to zero.
Yes.
VK again, raise funds and just chill, wait for pockets of opportunities. Correct.
Yes,
good
one. Exactly.
Good statement. Adrian again, CV Sports Cards, love them vintage, man. Yes, you do too, brother. Steven, what's up, fellas? Do you guys buy cards on eBay for your inventory, or is eBay just for your PC? Both.
Yeah. Most cards I buy are for myself, and then I'll have it in my inventory to show off. And if somebody wants to pay me my price for it, then I'll move it, or I'll enjoy it for a little bit. And then when I'm ready to move it on to somebody else, or I get tired of it, then I'll put it out to sell. But basically everything I buy I spend a lot of money on eBay, to be honest. I have an eBay credit card. That's how much money I spend on eBay. An
eBay credit card. Oh, brother. So
here's a tip, guys. If you didn't know, if you get an eBay credit card, you get 5% cash back on your eBay purchases.
You do?
Yes. So I spend a lot of money on eBay, so I get a lot of eBay points, and all that stuff goes in my PC. But I do take it to shows, and I'll sell it, or sometimes I'll trade it and stuff.
Andrew Lee, Andor is the best Star Wars TV series. Hot take. Dude, it is definitely, I put it second to Mandalorian, because the Mandalorian's its own beast. But man, those last 2 episodes were just epic, weren't they? It was so good. I actually want to watch them again. How about you, Dan? Did you see it?
I don't think I watched everything. So I've caught up. I finished watching Andor. I don't think it's the best show, the best Star Wars series.
No, so many people I've talked to think it's definitely one of the best. One of the best.
It's interesting. It's cool.
Of the shows.
It's different, but for me, it's not the best. No,
I didn't like that whole prison breakout.
Mandalorian is the best series.
I said that. I said that already, though. You can't hold a candle to Mandalorian.
Right. Okay. If you want to take Mandalorian out of the picture, I would say I enjoyed Obi-Wan more than I enjoyed.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So that's my pick for that.
Hey, art is objective.
If we're gonna include if we want to include the animation, I would say Clone Wars are really good.
I know. I have yet to see it.
Probably my best.
I've never seen it.
My favorite Clone Wars, if we're including animation, Clone Wars is my favorite.
Okay.
Bad Batch is also really good.
I started watching it too. I watched the first 2 episodes, but it's good too.
Oh yeah, it's the best.
Yeah, so far so good for me.
Mm-hmm.
Hobby champs. The hobby shock jocks are really scraping the bottom of the barrel for content, creating controversy from the ether. Correct. Zach of all trades. It seems as if card porn is heavily linked with Ken. I guess that's Ken Golden. Card porn would seem to be a paid influencer. The gloss. I don't know what that part means.
I don't know what that means. I don't know, like, what is card porn? Like, who is card porn, right? Because they were at the National filming things. So they must have like people that go out there, but I don't know if they're actually any one person or they're like an entity of people or anything like that, but I don't know.
Well, I saw one of AH's Instagram post, and he said, How did card porn get verified?
Well, they got a lot of subscribers, right? So I guess, yeah, exactly, right?
Yes.
How did they get verified? I don't know. I did.
It's
I
not
think,
Twitter.
yeah, I don't know who it is. I've always suspected that it is Ken Golden, who is the person behind Cardboard. That's just my fun conspiracy theory. It's not. No, I say it's a shared account between Ken Golden and Nat Turner. That's my theory.
Ooh.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Hobby champs, they're trying to help you, Dan. Laughing out loud, punching bag down, bringing you clicks, embrace it. Oh, I think he's embraced it. Have you not seen his Instagrams?
I'll take it. I'll take it for sure.
Yes, you would.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Sorry, I got to screen a lot of.
Dan's got to read them all.
Some of you guys are getting pretty spicy.
Ooh, really spicy in the chats. Oh my goodness, I can't imagine that. Jay, I think AIH's concern with card porn is that card porn bills itself as the industry watchdog or something to that degree, and yet they aren't going after Panini or whoever for their current shenanigans due to ... You have the rest, Dan? Conflict of interest, or soon conflict of interest with some companies, people now.
Yeah, like these guys. Here's one other thing that I want to point out here. These guys always talk about like pump and dump and market manipulation and influencer this and that, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know what real pump and dumping is? You look at what happened. You look at what happened with crypto, right? In that market. Homer is over there. When somebody like Elon or that guy from Binance, and they can make one tweet, and bankrupt the company and make people lose millions of dollars. Or or if they can say something or do something and prop the value up on on shares or cryptocurrency and create a lot of value out of thin air. That's real stuff right there. What we do in a hobby, it's like nothing. It's like these guys. It's either these guys don't understand, or they're just trying to like make something out of nothing. You know what I mean?
Trying to make something out of nothing. Because the real definition of pump and dump is like, like the market's going to fall out and everything. So you just sell all your stock or your crypto that you can before you take a huge loss. But they know what's going on inside. It's like inside trading.
Right.
Like you get out before everybody else finds out.
Yeah.
You're not trying to get out of the Star Wars or Marvel market.
And it's like nobody in the hobby is really in a position to do anything like that. You know what I mean?
No.
Like there might be a select handful of guys. Like if Ken Golden tweeted out,
multimillionaire.
Yeah, if like Ken Golden tweeted out, buy this card, maybe a lot of people would buy that, right? But for like 99% of the hobby, me included, like nobody has that type of influence, that type of power. Okay, and these guys are just trying to like create these false senses of grievance in people for whatever reason. So I just think I've always taken the position that in the real world, things like that may be applicable, in like the crypto market and stocks, things like that. But within the hobby, all that stuff doesn't apply. So these guys just like, they either don't know what they're talking about, or they're just intentionally trying to create a false sense of grievance in people for clicks.
Yes. Aaron, feed the gods. The only thing I see from these trolls to do is give you more attention to both of your channels and giving you more attention. Saying that, I'm just jealous. I wish I got the same thing. That's so true, Aaron.
Right. Let's see here.
I've even got more followers because of Dan. Ronnie, I thought you said you weren't going to talk about this on the last stream. Forget this drama. Let's talk about cards. Thanks for getting on to him, Ronnie.
Yeah. I try, guys, but you know what? I don't like the fact that these guys just keep taking shots at people. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not like it's like super personal, but I just don't like to let these guys get away with taking shots at everybody. So I feel like we got to punch back a little bit, at least make fun of them, at least make fun of how they're acting in the hobby. We don't get personal or anything like that. We don't take it super seriously, but at least we gotta make fun of them back a little bit. Okay.
We just want to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
What we got next? Stilo Mac. Did you see WWE shop sold out of all their select blaster boxes? Oh, you could get them off the WWE site? I didn't know that.
Yeah. I
Oh
just don't
wow.
like blaster boxes. I like the hobby boxes. I want to go after the super
Hmm.
rare cards. But that's cool. That's a good sign, actually. I wonder who bought that. I wonder if that's actually getting out to collectors or if somebody just bought that to flip it.
I have to check it out. I've never checked out their site. Adrian Merlin, great job on putting up the shorts. Oh, you know what? Thank you, Adrian. I took the advice from you and from Dan, curator. But it was weird when I first started putting them up the first day. I got like 20 new subscribers, and I was like, "Oh
Told
my god!"
you. I told
No, and
you.
I was only like 3 from getting 800, and then all of a sudden, like the next few days, I lost those 20 subscribers.
It
Like,
comes and goes.
yeah, what the heck happened? I was like, Dan is doing this or something. Dan's
It
got a
comes
lot
and
of
goes.
bots. Dan's my person, my ego, and then all of a sudden he takes them all away from me. It's either you or Dan doing it,
Yeah.
Adrian.
You
That's with
just
my
gotta
head.
be you gotta be consistent with it.
No, I am consistent. I've been putting up every day. I was like, oh my god, why are they unsubscribing to me? But now I got like 10 more recently again, so it kind of evened out. But I still need about 20 to get to 800. So please subscribe to me if you haven't, because I need 800 and I'll be doing a giveaway. Adrian CV Sports Cards again. Call him Pump and Chump. Oh, we should make a T-shirt of that, Adrian.
Right.
Papa Jim in the
I like
house.
that. I like that.
Woohoo! Hello, Dan and Merlin. Always good to see you guys taking some time off social media the next week or two. So I hope you guys have a thankful Thanksgiving. Oh, we won't hear from you on Thanksgiving, Papa Jim. So hope you have a good turkey day with you and your family as well. Okay, buddy?
Mm-hmm.
It's always good to hear from him and see him at Dallas Show. Jake Ryan. I'm thinking retro and early 2000 video game cards and Nintendo cards are my next chase cards. Ooh. I saw Mr. Minty shared a story of a Link card. So damn cool. I'll have to check it out. It's on his site, Mr. Minty's on Instagram. And yeah, Nintendo's picking up too. Did you do any research on those Nintendo boxes that were from Germany or somewhere?
I did. They're we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Okay.
I don't want to give away the secret on that.
Okay, yeah, that's all we'll say right now.
Ooh. All right, we got this one troll in here. He's spamming.
I love
these
trolls,
comments, but I want to highlight this one because I want to make him feel stupid.
Vendaloria Warlock. Oh, he's a witch. Curator, do you think having your own index is a conflict of interest? Wait a minute, you have your own index? Dan, you never sent me the link.
My Star Wars, he's talking about my Star Wars
on Market Movers.
So this Star Wars index on Market Movers, they asked me to create a list of my favorite cards, my cards that I want to share with people. Because a lot of people ask me, hey, where do I start with Star Wars? Right? Where do I, if I want to start a Star Wars collection, where should I get into? So I picked my favorite ones, and they're my favorite index. And these guys, these idiots, the King of Pops, and apparently all his minions, like this guy here, they just think that these are the top cards to invest in. No, idiot. This is an index of cards that you can track their prices. A lot of Star Wars cards don't transact, so you can't you can't track their prices. So we had to pick the ones that actually have sales that they can track that on eBay using their algorithm and stuff like that. And it's my list. It's my list of cards that I like the best. You can agree with it. You can debate it. You can add your own in there. You can do whatever you want, but it's a start. And
it's just a starter, yeah.
Over time, as more Star Wars cards transact, there will be more cards to list on the index. Okay, but it's not easy to create ones that you can actually track the prices and things like that. But that's what we're working on with Market Movers. It's not a conflict of interest. Most of those cards I don't even have. So these guys, they're so stupid. They're just trying to create a false sense of grievance. And that's what it makes me upset to have to deal with these idiots, because it's like you just can't let people collect. You just can't let people enjoy the hobby for what it is. You have to try to incite all these things. You make these reaction videos and things like that. So I just wanted to respond to this idiot before I block him.
Okay. Dude, you don't know what you're talking about, man. You're allowed to index anything you want. You're not going to get in trouble. You can index even if you're a stockbroker or whatever about stocks. You're just giving advice, but you're not creating the situation or anything. Kevin, what happened to sports cards, great curator? I mainly followed you before because you love sports and had great content about them. Something happened. What was that, Dan? What happened?
Well, I would say that number one, to stay competitive with the card show scene, because we started going to so many card shows, I wanted to have different things so that I wouldn't have to compete with 99% of the dealers there. So we moved into pop culture cards. Plus, I saw an opportunity to go into that because there was nobody selling Marvel, Star Wars, Disney cards or anything like that at these shows. So that was a great niche for me to go into. And then also, to be honest, like, it fits me more. I'm more in tune with like nerd culture, pop culture than I am with sports. I follow sports. Casual. I'm a casual fan. I follow sports. I know about it. I like to I have my teams that I root for and things like that. But I'm more like a guy that will watch all the Star Wars movies, all the Marvel movies, and collect toys and things like that. So it fits me a little bit more. And I've evolved. I've told people this many times. When I got back into the hobby, I was trying to play the flip game like many people. And I've kind of like learned and evolved my strategy over time to allow me to stay active in the hobby the way I do. I still have sports cards. I still have a little Kobe collection, personal teams, things like that. I'm buying some vintage cards here and there, but I'm definitely not playing the same game that everybody else is currently. And then, because I met you, Merlin, we partnered up and we have we like the same cards and things like that. So it worked out that way.
No, but you're a conflict of interest now.
Right.
Yes, that's why I enjoy hanging out with you, Dan, and sharing, what we collect together. It's always fun. We both learn from each other.
Yep. Okay, sorry, I got to screen all these. I got to block all these. Some of these minions are in here right now. We got to block them.
Boy, they're obsessed, aren't they?
Right.
Boy. Leo, I'm down to have drinks with y'all at the next card show we all attend. From the looks of things, the next big show will be Burbank, which is my birthday weekend, and also the weekend of Super Bowl, Leo. So, yes, we'll be down with you, brother.
Yeah, appreciate the donation, Leo. Thank you very much. If we can do something at Burbank, we'll hang out. It'll be fun for sure.
But Burbank won't be in Burbank. It'll be in Ontario, right?
Mm-hmm.
Abel, will you be in Ontario to come hang out too? Because I didn't see it. Did we see each other at Burbank? I can't remember. Thoughts on Kevin Conroy's passing Batman? Oh yeah, he's the who was the voice of the animated Batman?
It's always sad. It's always sad when somebody from that you've basically grown up with, passes away. He was young too. He was like in his 60s. I think he had cancer or something like that.
Like 68 or something.
Yeah. So that's really unfortunate. That makes me sad, but his work will always live on. And it's kind of like because he's got such a long body of work that he's always going to be around. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know that he's actually passed away. But it's sad that any new Batman animated shows or anything like that won't have his voice in it. So that makes me a little bit sad.
Me 3 cards. Sorry, I haven't watched for a while. Did Dan sell his ships painting? No, he's just placed the camera on the other side of the room.
Yeah, it's actually right here, guys. I'll show you. Right there.
Ooh, there.
Right there.
Yeah, he was at the couch before, and now he's just in a chair on the other side.
Yeah. Maybe one day I'll move my setup to the other side and I'll bring back the ship painting. But people love this.
It's great now because our show is already nighttime now, which is great. Before, when you were on this side and the sun was coming in, that was a little harsh sometimes. Dexflow Toys. Dan, you have a growing list of enemies in this hobby. You worried that one day they might try to hit you with a steel chair in the back when you're not looking? Well, luckily we're there too, guys. So
I guess I do have a growing list of enemies. I don't know why. I guess I just
think with all that pumping and dumping, you could afford some security.
I know you are my security.
Oh God!
For people who don't know, Merlin,
and they see my poor neck. Oh my
Merlin
goodness.
is a NCAA wrestler.
Oh my God!
Former
That's probably why I'm in pain all the time.
NCAA wrestler. Merlin.
Yep.
So Merlin is my security at all shows. That's why I keep
that was the
around.
smallest weight class, though. Okay, and that was like 30 years ago. Preston cards. How are you guys doing tonight? Do either of you plan to be at any of the upcoming Premier SoCal shows? You may show up. I might be at the one in December.
Yeah,
Preston.
I'm not going to be setting up, but I always try to. I'll probably go to those shows to walk around a little bit. So yeah, you'll probably see us there.
Yeah, I might set up the one in December and sell some graded guards. So if
Mhm.
any of y'all want graded guards, come to my table because I'm pretty well stocked, and I actually have a bunch that's actually out of stock on their site. So I'm gonna have to set up and sell some of the out of stock colors. Armand, what's the expected demand for new Star Wars Galaxy Chrome? I say super high, Dan.
I think it's going to be big, guys. I think it's going to be big. I know I'm going to be I'm going to be ripping a case of it probably. I know a lot of my friends who's going to be ripping cases. I bet you
Mhm.
anything, a ton of breakers are going to be ripping it on their channels and
Is
stuff
that
like
and then
that.
Kelly? Is he going to have them too? Since he's with
Breakers.
Tops.
I think all breakers are going to be ripping that stuff if they can get their hands on it. I think it's going to be huge. I mean, we've been talking about this. We've been talking about Galaxy as being like the defining set for Tops modern cards, for Star Wars modern
Hmm.
cards. So I think there's going to be a lot of hype around it. Hopefully they launch it in a way where it's not like overdone. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like hopefully it's not like a WWE Prism situation where they hype it up and it goes super high in price and then it just crashes the next couple weeks.
And you
I
see
hope
it everywhere.
I hope they do it right. I hope they pull really great cards and we get some good sales to sustain the price and all that stuff. But I'm excited for it.
All right. So many minions here.
I know, right?
Yep. And now they're gone.
Don't worry, I'm blocking them. I'm blocking them. You know what's
Oh,
funny?
you'll be hearing it this
Yeah.
week too.
You
That
know
he
what's
blocked
funny?
me, that SOB.
Oh God.
Damn that curator.
Oh my God. I was rude and I was leaving comments and I was picking fights with people
All
in
I
the
was
chat.
doing was
And
trying to ask a
yeah.
question.
And
That's what they say all the
blocked
time.
me. How dare they block me? How dare they censor me for being a jerk? Oh
I was
my
just
God.
telling the truth, and they don't like the truth.
You know what's
They
funny?
don't like to hear the truth.
Every once in a while I'll get these stupid comments on Instagram where these people will write me comments saying, you know what? I don't like you, so I'm gonna unfollow you or whatever, right? Like,
Okay.
but what's funny is that for my comments in my Instagram, you have to follow me to leave a comment. So these people have to follow me in order to leave a comment saying that they unfollow me, But I just like, dude, nobody cares, right? Nobody cares. If you want to support our channel, if you want to support me, awesome. I appreciate it. But nobody cares that you unfollow or anything like that. It just doesn't matter, right?
Mhm.
And if you're not down with all the things that we like here, if you don't support us, if you're not about positivity, if you don't collect the stuff that we collect and want to talk about it, you're not our audience. You're a different demographic, so you don't impact us at all. But these people, they think that like it makes a difference. You know what I mean? So I always try to block these people. I probably have like 20,000 followers right now if I didn't block so many of these idiots.
I know, and they end up leaving comments on my channel, so that's when I know that Dan must have blocked them because it's
Right.
referencing you, and I'm like, why are they leaving the comments about you on my channel? Doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense. I know that because I'm,
Yeah.
your
Listen,
co-host.
there's a lot of people out there that might not be, that might not have any common sense, but you don't get to be a jerk to people and expect to get courtesy out of them. You don't get to leave nasty comments and try to start fight with people and attack people and be allowed to stay within their chat groups and on their channel and leave comments and things like that. There is no entitlement here, especially with the groups that we run here. If you're going to be a jerk, you're going to get blocked. Sorry.
Mhm.
Go take that crap somewhere else and then, fight with people on a different channel, but it's not going to be here.
Next, Preston's Cards. Will you guys be at the Newport showcase? Dan might. I will not. I have a prior engagement already.
Unfortunately, that will be my birthday. So
it is.
Yeah, I probably will not be there. I'll probably be doing some family stuff.
Was it the 3rd?
Yeah, December 3rd.
Okay.
The big 40th birthday for me. So, I'll probably, who knows? I'll probably be ripping boxes and smoking a cigar and getting drunk and having a good meal and hanging out with my family and doing all
Do
sorts
what you
of
like.
stuff. Yeah, just stuff like that. Again, like towards the end of this month and going into December, I really try to focus on like holiday stuff with the family. It's the best time of the year, guys. So I'll take a break from the hobby a little bit and I'll just enjoy all that stuff.
Will you be wearing a Santa suit on one of the Between Two Slabs?
Probably. We'll see.
Yeah.
Asian Santa.
Love it.
Yeah.
Hobby Champs, you get any of the T206? Yeah, I bought some last week. I still have to make a video of opening some. I'll probably do it this week. I got a little behind. I had to do some work, but I've opened up one of these last week, and I'll probably open about 5 or 10 this week.
You like them?
Yeah, I would like to see if I pull one of the rare cards. They're pretty, interesting, but that's it. There's all kinds of different variations, which I'm learning about.
Right.
Because I had one, I thought it was like the Aaron Urso, whatever her name is, and I thought it was a variation, but it's the same looking card, but it's just the title, the name is different at the bottom.
Right.
That's the only difference. Dexflow Toys, GC and Merle just got my Slabs account yesterday. Feels like the Toys R Us of cards. Want to spend so much. Have you made any offers and got any offers accepted? Or are you selling and buying? What, dude? Zach of all trades, the gatekeepers. That's Dan. He's the gatekeeper of Star Wars.
I know, right? I'm the gatekeeper of this chat, at least. Again, I try to keep it positive. I try to let people have fun in the chat and interact with each other. But if anybody's going to be a jerk, you're going to get booted. Sorry.
I don't know, but if I saw that person left like 50 comments. It was a little like redundant. I think it becomes a little obsessive, kind of like, little.
And here's the thing. Like I would
nutty.
I would love to talk to these guys in person because I feel like they're not like this in real life. I feel like,
it's like an alter ego. It's like something else. Like you're more brave. And
when you can be anonymous, you can act like an idiot, right? Because there's no consequences.
Talk nasty.
If you're in real life, most people don't act like this, right? But I would love to talk to these people because I feel like they I feel like they could be doing something better with their time than picking fights within the context of the hobby. You know what I mean? Like again, like I say this all the time. I feel like a broken record when I say this, but the world's messed up, guys. You have crazy political things happening. You got crazy things happening in crypto. You got possibly World War III starting
over in Eastern Europe.
In Europe, you got social issues. You got all this crazy stuff, in the hobby.
And all we're trying to do is escape.
You got all this crazy stuff outside of the hobby. And when we kind of try to go into our little bubble here in the hobby, we just want to have fun. We want to nerd out. We want to interact with people. We want to show off cards and just have fun and just forget about the real world problems. We don't need people to try to start fights within the hobby. It's not a good use of your time. It's not productive. I don't understand how people can get joy out of that. If you follow like certain people, if you follow these trolls out there, and they compel you to do these things, they compel you to go into people's chats and leave messages. They compel you to go onto Instagram and leave nasty comments and things like that, dude. You could do better things with your time, is what I'm trying to say. And I wish I could impart that message to a lot of these people because I just think that there's probably something that they can find to do with their time that will bring more joy to their life than trying to attack other people and tear them down.
Yeah, man. Really, do you feel good about that? Like, what? Like, if you hate us so much and think we suck and everything like that, then why are you on here 24/7 trying to harass us? Like, why are you watching the show? It doesn't make any sense.
It's not worth it, guys. Go take
this brings you joy.
Yeah, go take up a different hobby. And if it does bring you joy, you need to reevaluate what brings you joy. But if it doesn't bring you joy and you just feel compelled to do this because you're so riled up for whatever reason, go find a different hobby. It's not that serious. We're just collecting cards. It's not that serious, guys. Relax. And then the other thing I'll say about this too, now that you got me on this rant, this is what really bends my corner, guys. These people that are inciting this type of activity, like I and in his chats, if you allow people to do this within your chats, you are as responsible for their behavior as anybody else. You gotta kind of police the chat a little bit and tell people, hey, calm down, relax. Don't take it so seriously. Don't be like that, right? Because these people these minions that you have are a representation of you and your content and all that stuff. And that's not a good look. That is not a good look. And I don't know anybody that would say that any of that type of activity is okay. So just relax, have fun, be cool with people, be nice, or just get out of the hobby.
Get out. Now, Daryl Rule. They are just seeking attention. Lonely people. Maybe so. We'll figure it all out.
Right.
Maybe need therapy, man. It's okay to have therapy. CV Sports Cards. I would love to meet these people on the street. I bet they would not have the balls to say these things to our faces. That's why they never come to our streets.
Yep.
Daryl Rule. They are just seeking attention. Yeah, we already said that one. That's why they never go to the card shows when we're there in their city.
Right.
I doubt like I said, we'll see them at the National. Probably won't. Jay, in the end, collect what you like. Price floats. Get over it. One day it's up. Next day it's down. Slabs make good drink coasters at parties at the right price point. Oh, that's a good one. Jay's actually used them as coasters.
I bet you we will see at some point some artist will make some type of art installation using a bunch of junk slabs. I can already see it now.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I've got a few to hand to him then. Oh, thanks Adrian for a $20
appreciate it,
sticker.
Adrian.
Thank you so
Adrian
much, brother.
Is a big sponsor of our channel here. We love our friend Adrian. CV Sports Cards. We will give him a shout out now.
Yes.
If you want to get a shout out, do a super chat donation. We'll give you a shout out for sure. But check out CV Sports Cards YouTube page. He makes content. He does the show circuit now, like us. He grades. He knows a lot about vintage cards too.
Yes, he does.
He grades vintage cards. He does a lot of subbing with PSA, so he has a lot of interesting content on his channel. He's a big '90s basketball collector. He always has like
loves '90s basketball.
Yeah, he always has these rare Jordan inserts. I see he's showing off. So give him a follow. Check him out. He has a rivalry going with Merlin. They are competing to try to get to 1,000 subscribers, and the loser is gonna get slapped by the other person and run around.
Well, wait a minute. This thing keeps changing.
Yes, and the loser is gonna get a tattoo of the other person's logo on their.
Okay, ass. Stop now. Oh lordy.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, give me a heart attack over here. Adrian, again, love the positive vibes, guys. I'm ready to attack. Love that they throw the kitchen sink at you and you still don't get affected by it.
Right.
Definitely.
They're always taking shots at me, but I'm bobbing and weaving. I'm ducking. Their shots bounce off me like bullets off Superman. So
you're saying you don't lose sleep? Do you lose sleep over this?
No, not at all. And I actually have a lot of fun with it because I get to use all these memes on Instagram that I can't use otherwise. So I'm having fun with it, but I don't want people to take it too seriously because I don't want people to get really bent out of shape about this stuff or anything like that. It's all in good fun. Like I've broken it down many times and told you guys it's just about content. It's just about getting views between me and them. But I worry about the people that follow them and that might take it too seriously and things like that. So just relax, guys. It's cards. It's not supposed to be that serious. We're all just having fun here.
Yeah, this is all for fun. That's why we do the show, for y'all to have fun too.
Yes. And if I have to be the punching bag for these guys, I'll take it. I'll take it so nobody else takes the punches because maybe they don't have a thick skin like me. But yeah. So with that, I think that's the last comment. We'll wrap it up. We went a little bit over time. What we usually do here.
Fast though.
Remember when these used to be like 1 hour podcasts and now they've grown to like 1.5. Now they're like 2 hours.
Crazy.
So,
oh my God.
But we had a healthy amount of people in here, like at least a steady 60 people in here the whole time. Mm-hmm. So that's
I think the highest we were up to like 75.
Yeah, that's super cool. We love the support from you guys. We love this community that everybody has built around our show. It's great. So we'll continue to be doing this show and hopefully bring you guys as much value as we can and great discussions. Any last things you want to plug, Merlin?
Well, yeah, man. I also want to just conclude as well that it's one of the best things also about doing shows. It's great to see you guys at shows and finally meeting you all face to face. I mean, we've met many of y'all multiple times, and just seeing the joy in your faces when y'all are like first meeting us and telling us that how much of pleasure you have from watching the show and feel like you're knowing us. And now you finally get to meet us in person. I mean, that brings joy to me. I know it brings joy to Dan, and it keeps us, motivated to keep the show going. So to have you guys support and see that how much y'all love the hobby and seeing y'all experience this in person is just the biggest joy I could have had for this year of 2022. So I want to thank y'all. I'm very thankful. So this is part of my pre-Thanksgiving. So guys, I'm very thankful for you all. because y'all bring me lots of joy.
Wow, awesome.
And check out my channel. I've slowed down some work. I got to do some work tomorrow for Mr. Minty. Actually, I'm doing some content work for him when he's coming over here. So look out for that, Mr. Minty, new promo stuff. Also, I'll be doing some card reveals and opening up some boxes of Star Wars. So I owe you guys that. So make sure you go to my channel, subscribe, and smash that bell button so you'll be notified when those videos finally come up.
Right. Awesome. Awesome. And with that, I think that's a perfect way to end the show. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We will see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Oh, he did it.